guys, my name is Emily, the maker and founder of everything you see here on this channel, and it has been quite some time since I have shown up and shown my face and recorded a video, but I'm really excited and thrilled to be here today. I miss the camaraderie of the crafting community. I follow a lot of you guys on Instagram, but I have missed just chatting about my knitting, so here I am today to do just that. And I wanted to focus specifically on my summer related garments. So I live in Orlando, Florida, where it is, pretty hot year round. I don't really have seasons, something I never really thought I always took it for granted. And ever since I moved to Florida, where it's one big season for the most part, I have missed them. So the way that I dive into seasons these days is with color. So for summer, you'll find me knitting with a lot of really bright colors. Fall, winter, you'll see dark, moodier vibes, and that's how I lean into seasons, so that I have things I can wear year round, but I still feel kind of like I'm seasonally wearing things and knitting, but I don't have like a heavy wardrobe and a light wardrobe. I don't make a lot of sweaters. I make one, maybe two long sleeve sweaters a year, but most things I make are short sleeve, just because that is what I will actually wear, because I love wearing things that I make, but it also has to be reasonable for the temperature and climate outside. So again, today I want to focus specifically on summer, which for me means a lot of bright colors. So I have two FOs, one little intermission embroidery project, and kind of two works in progress, and then I'll talk about one of my big plans for fall. And we are joined by a special guest. I don't know if you can see her or not, but Moonlight is here laying next to me, my adorable cat. So let's jump right in. So my first summer, actually wait, let me tell you what I'm wearing. I am wearing the Teeasy by Allison Crib, I believe is her name. This was really popular around 2020. I knit it in 2021. It is knit in Lion brand Truboo. It's obviously not a new finished object for me since I knit it way back, but it is new in the sense that I recently dyed it. It used to be a lot brighter, mintier green, but it had a stain, so I haven't worn it for like a year because I was lazy and just could not figure out how to get the stain out. I even put it in the laundry, the washer and dryer, and I almost never put my knits in the real laundry. I always hand wash them, because even if it says it's okay, I don't want to ruin something that I spent so much time on. But I just couldn't get the stain out, so I was like, I don't know, maybe this will work. I still couldn't, so I ended up dyeing it this past weekend, and it's worked. So it's a lot darker, moodier, forester of a green now than it used to be. It used to be, like I said, brighter, lighter, and also it is shrunk in all of my attempts to fix the stain, probably through the washing and drying processes. It is shrunk. It is a lot more cropped than it was when I first made it, but I have no problem with that. I'm really into cropped these days anyway. So that is what I'm wearing. The Lion brand Truboo is a rayon from bamboo. It's a really, really lightweight summer drapey garment, and I can wear it on the hottest of days and still be comfortable. So I really love that about this material. Okay, now let's dive into my finished objects for summer. So number one, I knit the summer Sorrel, but modified. So this is a fingering weight Sorrel by Wool and Pine. It's a very popular pattern. They have one for like almost every season, I think. The modifications I made are the ribbing. The summer Sorrel is technically an I-cord cast on, but I modified it to kind of be more like the spring version in terms of it has a knitted twisted rib collar cast on up here. You will see this is not a end hanging out. This is a little bow that I put on the back of all my garments, so it's easy to tell what's the front and what's the back. It obviously has short sleeves, twisted ribbing all the way around, and it has those dip stitches that are what make the Sorrel the Sorrel. There's the front, there's the back. This is knit in Frankie gray fiber. You will see that is a little bit of a trend this summer as well for me. That is Jody from the Grocery Girls. Love the Grocery Girls. Yarn with her family. And I love their bright colors. I love their speckles. And also they usually have really good sales a couple times a year, and I take advantage of those. And so I had a lot of their yarn in my stash. I think actually, I don't think I have any more in my stash now, but you'll see there'll be a couple more projects that I show you with it. This is the colorway Happy Face, I believe. It is about 2.5 skeins of yarn, so about 250 grams. 2 of the skeins I had were sparkle, 1 was not. So I helical knit with the sparkle yarn, no, I knit just regular with the sparkle yarn up until dividing for sleeves. And after dividing for sleeves, I helical knit between the regular and the sparkle so that it wouldn't like be crazy. There would be no patches, there'd be no pooling, but also there'd be no spots without some sparkle in it. The sleeves are just about 1 inch before I did the ribbing, so a teeny bit of a sleeve, but not much. And I think that is that's everything about this summer Sorrel. The color is a really like neon bright yellow with some white and then speckles of darker green and like red, I would call it, more so than pink. I, again, just love the speckle. I love the bright color. I think it's super summery. I can't say enough good things. So I do have a little bit of yarn left over, but not a ton. I don't remember what size I made, but I'll probably put it on screen for you. So I think that's everything I have to say about the summer Sorrel. I'm a big fan. Oh, I should also be honest. I started it last summer. So I got through the yoke, the dip stitches, and then I put it aside. And I started knitting more fall things. And I picked it back up the beginning of this year, or the beginning of this summer, I should say, and I finished it off. So I'm a big fan. I love it. And it's probably like one of the first times I've set a project aside for a different project, because I'm usually a mostly monogamous kind of knitter. And I'm happy I did, because I lost the excitement about it, being that we went into fall. But coming back into early summer this year, I regained my excitement and finished it, and I've loved wearing it. So this is a big win. It's also fingering weight. I don't know if I said that, which is, again, just great for summer. It is a superwash merino, probably 75-25 merino nylon, consistency of yarn as well. Okay, so on to project number 2 with my finished objects for the summer. This is another Frankie gray fabric yarn. That's why I said you're going to see a lot of it. This is a one-of-a-kind yarn that I just like, they were having fun with their speckles, and I love it. I'm definitely a pink girl. I think it's gorgeous and also just, again, perfect for summer. This pattern is the Rib Lace Raglan by James N. Watts, which, again, another thing that's just been on my radar. It's been in my queue. I've wanted to make it, and I just love it. It's got, between the lace and the rib, I think it's really drapey. It's perfect for summer. Again, I don't know what size I did, but you will once again see my little bow, which designates the back. It has I-cord for all of the, actually, I guess just the neckline is I-cord. I think these are just cast-offs, like regular cast-off. What else to share? So I did make a little bit of a mistake, which I don't think is that noticeable. It's only on the back, but there is a point where I clearly wasn't reading my stitches well enough, and I, again, just on the back, like, rotated the entire pattern over by 1. So that is not cute, but it's on the back. I'm gonna forget about it. It's not a big deal. And that's really it. I used 2 entire skeins of yarn for this. I just knit until I ran out. I didn't want to have just like a little bit left over, and I was like, usually, 2 skeins is like just perfect for me for a fingering weight garment for my size, to be like a little bit cropped. But I guess just because this is so drapey, the gauge is so large, it is a pretty, like, it's a relatively long top compared to the cropped ones I usually make. Also, I aggressively blocked it. So when I did block it, I took my pins and stretched it quite a bit so that it's oversized, which then offsets some of the length as well. But overall, I really like it. Again, fingering weight and kind of the yarn overs and stuff are perfect for the summer weather. I think that's all I have to say about the pattern. I really like it. It was very memorizable, very easy. And that's, I think, all I've got, but I'm a big fan. I like it a lot. The pink is super adorable to me. Oh, but speaking of the pink and the yarn, so they were, again, kind of one of a kinds, but they were supposed to be the same. But when in the skein, they looked identical. When I caked them up, one was a lot more brown speckles and one had a lot more like light pink speckles. So it looked quite different. Even my boyfriend noticed, who is usually like, you know, not the most observant when it comes to yarn. But so I usually do what I did on the yellow one, where I just helical knit, or I knit, and then after I split for sleeves I helical knit. But this thing I helical knit the entire way, so there wouldn't be any drastic differences, and I love it. Like, I think it's super cute. Again, love the speckles. Even though the skeins looked pretty significantly different, they came together and just are stunning, if you ask me. So I love this one too. Those are my 2 knitting finished FOs for the summer. I have kind of one more work in progress I will show you, but give me a brief intermission so I can show off my embroidery. So embroidery is something I am extremely new. Here it is. So gorgeous, right? So I'm a very, very, very beginner embroiderist. The only thing I've done is like a couple of kits that I get on Etsy, and this one I got for my birthday a couple years back. It did take me years to finish, but it is something I worked on sporadically. It's not my primary craft, but I love it. It's got even some sequins and some beads in it. It's from a company in Europe, London, UK, I think the UK. I will find them and let you know what they are, because I loved it. They had their booklet. Like I said, I've worked with a couple different kits for embroidery, and this was the most detailed, most succinct, most informative. I didn't have to like go to YouTube or anything. All the information was in this booklet that they gave you. So I felt really, really confident and comfortable working on it. So it came with this colored background, hand-painted background, and then you just embroider right on top of it. This is I have it on a 7x7 canvas that I just grabbed from Target, and you know, there's a little back, but the front is really stunning and I love it. So really proud that I finished that this summer. Okay, back to knitting. Okay, so first and foremost, this project bag I got from Yarnify ! Which is a yarn shop in Chicago. I got it years ago, like maybe 2022 or something. Maybe like 2022 actually. And it was from a local person. Made it as well, someone from Illinois. So if I can find the name of the shop, I'll let you know, but I don't know that I have it anymore, honestly. But it is housing my 1.5, 2 whips, question mark. And it's a little bit of a saga, so bear with me. So I said, I want to start knitting with my Handspun. I do not have a wheel or anything like that. I just work on a spindle, usually a drop spindle, but I have started working on a support spindle just because that's what the what the YouTubers are crazy about these days. In terms of spindle spinning, it was, I think, Brooke Willow who first kind of got me onto it, and then there are other people that were trying it also, I think, because of her. I just don't have the investment right now for a wheel, although one day I think I would love it. So I decided, okay, I want to start working with my Handspun. Here is what the current ball looks like. It is from a rainbow, not bat. It was like a rainbow, like the fiber. That I got from Melanated Boho Bay, and I spun it immediately years ago. Again, this was probably 2020, 2021, 2022, early 2020s. And I loved it, but it just sat because I didn't know what to do with it. I just didn't know what to do with it. It was so special to me. But I decided this is the year I'm finally going to start knitting with my Handspun. So this was my favorite Handspun that I have. And it is about, I would call it a DK weight. There are little bits in here that are worsted. There's little bits in here that are fingering. But on average, I think this is a DK weight yarn. So I have like a little like folder on Ravelry of things I could make. But for my first one, and also like this is not perfect handspun, like this is again kind of at the beginning of my experience, I still would call myself a beginner spinner. Like I don't do it enough to call myself like super experienced, but I wanted something simple. So eventually I'd love to do some like color work. This be, you know, kind of like replace spin cycle. Like this is the color work in a sweater, a flower in a sweater, or something gorgeous. But to start, I wanted relatively simple. So I've been eyeing for a while Andrea Mowry's Metamorphic pattern. In it, she uses, I think maybe some of her samples are in handspun, but I think also spin cycle. It's a sport to DK weight pattern, I believe. And I am using, again, my ball of handspun and more Frankie Gay fibers. This is DK in the colorway Fairy Garden. And it is a very light pink with lots of speckles. So I think it's very beautiful. This is what I have right now. It is a little bit bunched up on the needle, so I apologize. I hope you can kind of see. But it is, again, the Metamorphic pattern by Andrea Mowry. So it is essentially just garter stitch with a faux seam down every single side and every other row, just one row stripes. So one row handspun, one row other. And it does have significant ribbing, and it is a long sleeve sweater that I will modify. It should be short sleeve. This is, however, all that's left of my handspun right now. It was about 96 grams to start, so I knew I'd be playing yarn chicken from the jump because I believe I'm knitting the size 5 for this one, and I believe she says she used about 150 grams, I want to say, somewhere around there, of the contrast color. And I only have 96. So I just, again, I kind of started. I told myself, hey, it's fine. I'm not doing sleeves, so I'm not going to need as much as she did. I don't know that, I don't know. Basically, this is kind of just like a progress. So let me tell you about now the saga, the journey that I kind of mentioned previously. So I cast on this ribbing and I loved it, loved it, loved it. I was like, oh my God, this fairy garden color is so beautiful. I love the speckles. I love the light pink. I love the speckles. It's perfect. And then I also like continued. I got to just a couple rows in and I had used a different part of the handspun ball to start. More so like right here, this section, if you can see. So it's very, very not contrasty. It's kind of blends in with the main color, and was how I started originally right here. So I wasn't loving it. I was like, oh my God, I absolutely love the collar, but I don't love how it kind of blends and it's not as contrasty or as bold as I would want. Let me rip it all out. So I did it. I ripped it out. I had gotten to, like I said, about here, but it did look slightly different. So I ripped it out, and the pattern Ranunculus had just been in the back of my brain at the period, for whatever reason. I made like 4 Ranunculuses and gifted them, again, several years ago, and I have definitely wanted to make more, but I was just taking a little bit of break from the pattern, and so I cast on a Ranunculus with the Fairy Garden yarn. But it still wasn't loving it. Like, I don't know, I don't love this gauge. I don't love how, I love, again, the pattern and I love the yarn, but I don't think they're a good combo because I think the speckle of the pattern kind of overrides the gorgeous elements of the Ranunculus. I know that when I block it, you will see the lace better, but still, I just don't love. But I also I don't hate it or anything at all. I'm still unsure. So basically, I was like, I don't love this, but I'm not ready to rip it out. So this is just sitting here, chilling. And I did a lot of research. I was like, I love this Fairy Garden yarn. I love but maybe something simpler with no detail would be better for it. But also, and I searched Ravelry, and I mean, there's plenty of basic, simple patterns that this yarn would just shine in, right? But I didn't want to make a basic pattern. I still was kind of thinking about maybe I use my handspun, maybe I set it aside and don't use it, but none of these things felt right. So I was just called back to the Metamorphic pattern. So about a week ago, I recast on and I decided to start from a different portion of my handspun skein, something with a little bit more bolder, brighter contrast. So, you know, as you can see, I did so it's a lot more contrasty here. It does start to blend, and then now we're going out to a portion where it's going to be, I mean, here, you see it, it's going to be a lot more bold and contrasty now. So that is where we are going, and I love it a lot more. I really like it. I'm happy with it. I also was hesitant about the garter stitch. I'm not usually a garter girl. I prefer the look of stockinette or plain knitting, but I think it's like this faux seam that just makes the garter pop or whatever. So now I'm really enjoying this pattern. I think it's really pretty. I think the simplicity of the pattern is good for my first time ever using my handspun. I don't hate, you can definitely tell that there's parts of the handspun that are more fuzzy or less perfect than others, and I don't hate that at all. It's a very feminine looking with the pink and the purple, this yarn being called Fairy Garden is perfect. It resembles to me, it's just the whole sweater is Fairy Garden, beautiful, gorgeous, complete full summer vibes. So I'm gonna keep knitting on this, and I want to finish it honestly kind of pretty soon, over the next couple of weeks, hopefully less than a month. I mean, it is DK after all. I think I should be able to. I have about 2 more yoke increases before I split for sleeves, and then after that, you know, hopefully we're sailing. And I do only have this much handspun left, so either it's going to be a really crop sweater. Also, in the pattern photos, you know, there is significant amount of ribbing, so you can see this is a pretty large 2-inch collar. So the ribbing at the bottom will be probably 2 or 3 inches. So I have plenty of this Fairy Garden. I have 3 skeins of it. If I need to rip out that ranunculus to finish this sweater for whatever way, I will do so. And then what I will do with the ranunculus, I don't know. Because I don't think I have enough Fairy Garden to do both sweaters. But now it's just on pause because I didn't have the heart to rip it out just yet. So TBD on that one. This is the one that I'm thriving with right now that I want to finish. So I don't know. It's very much more process than product right now. I have enjoyed, usually I'm okay, it's not perfect, whatever, let me just keep knitting and I'll figure it out. And if I don't like it, I'll move on to the next. But this is very much I'm just trying, I don't know, it's just more process to me. But I'm really enjoying the process. Now I think we've got a winning combo, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it's enough yarn to at least make a cropped short sleeve sweater garment top here. And we'll see what happens with the rest. So it's kind of just figure it out as I go kind of deal right now. But those are my 1.5 whips, and let's move on to fall knitting, fall plans. And that's where this lovely bag comes in. So, a little bit of a story time here. Again, it's been a lot of story times, I feel like. I have begun to really enjoy anytime I travel. I pick up a skein. I've kind of done yarn adventures. 2 years ago, I guess it is now, I think, my sister and I went to 10 yarn shops across Chicago. We made it a yarn store day, because that's where I'm originally from and my family still lives. So I was home visiting. We took a day and we just went to 10 different yarn shops across Chicago and the suburbs. And I ultimately made this gorgeous colorwork sweater with I don't think I bought a shop at every yarn shop, but 6 different skeins of yarn. And I just had this whole plan in my head, and I love that. I've loved that. So that's what I plan to do for most of my future travels. So I have a colorwork pattern in mind, grab a color from various shops that I go to and visit, and then make a sweater, a Chicago sweater, or in this case, a Europe sweater. So last October, I went to Europe for the very first time ever, and my plan, I went to 4 different countries, was to go to 1 yarn shop in every country, and I was going to make the Ranunculus by Caitlin Hunter. No, excuse me, Ranunculus was over here. I was going to make the Soldotna by Caitlin Hunter. I have wanted to make a Soldotna for a while. Like, the craze is kind of worn off, I feel like, but it was huge for like probably 2 or 3 knitting seasons, right? Like, huge. And I decided, again, kind of years ago, that the vibe I wanted to go with for this future Soldotna would be a fall jewel-toned Soldotna. But what's going to make it special? And ultimately, like, so I knew I was going to 4 countries in Europe, so I was looking up on Ravelry 4 color sweaters so that I could get a color in every country I went to. And the Soldotna, which the pattern I already had, and I'd already been thinking about making a jewel tone / fall-y Soldotna, and I went to Europe in the fall last October, so everything just kind of fell into place where I want to make a Europe / fall Soldotna, and I'm going to get all these yarn from these different countries I'm visiting. So I started in London, and I went to the Beautiful Knitter. They give you this gorgeous, cute bag. It used to be a lot bigger, but I put it in the wash and shrunk it on accident. So I started there. And honestly, they had a wall of fall colors from this brand. And the brand is Telling Yarns Steadfast British Hand-Dyed Wool. And this whole wall, I could have just bought all 4 colors for this Soldotna from that wall. Like, it was just perfect, the perfect jewel tone, the perfect. But this is ultimately what I went with. It's all DK weight. It's 50% Blueface Leicester, 30% Romney, 15 Masham, and 5% Zwordles. 100% British from farm to needle. The colorway is Viserion. I have 2 skeins, one fell on the ground. But it is like a light brown. It's a tan with some reddy pops, like maroony pops in here. Like, I think it's beautiful. It is not as soft by far as these other like superwash merino or what I'm wearing, but I don't think it's gonna super irritate my skin or anything either. It's just like already just feeling it right now. It's definitely not as soft, but again, nothing wrong with that. So this was pickup number 1 from country number 1. Then I went to Paris. I went to Lil Weasel, probably pronouncing that completely wrong. But this was my first stop in Paris. I literally put my bags in my hotel, and then I went over to this yarn shop, and I got, again, probably butchering all these names, Gilliat or Gilliat. It is 100% wool. Forette is the colorway. And here it is. It's a very forest dark green with little specks of like brown, but mostly green. From what I understood, it's a French wool, but again, I could be wrong. But the label is in French, and I'm pretty sure I translated it when I was there, and it said it was a French wool, but I could be mistaken. But this was colorway number 2, so I only have 1 skein of this. This is going to be a contrast color in the top. And then I went over to Belgium, and here is where I hit an issue. So I got to Belgium like really late Sunday night, and I was in Belgium all day Monday, and then I left early Tuesday morning. So really, like, there was, unfortunately, the yarn shops just weren't open. Like, you know, a lot of yarn shops are closed on Monday, which makes total sense. Like, they're open all weekend, but I didn't think about it when I was trip planning at all. So I really wanted to go to this cute yarn store called Knit Cat, because it's like, yeah, Knit Cat. And I don't remember if it was in Ghent or Bruges, but it was in a little small town that I was visiting outside of Brussels. And the towns were gorgeous, so cute, right? But unfortunately, the yarn shop was closed, and it's just not something I had thought about at all until like literally I got there, and I'm like, okay, let me go to this yarn shop. How do I get there? And it's like closed. And I'm like, oh, I didn't think about it. So that was the same. So I did not get any yarn from Belgium at all. Now, could I have come home and ordered something? Absolutely. Could I have figured it out? Probably. But I had in my head that I wanted to start this project on the airplane ride home. It was like a 13-hour trip, and I was gonna hand wind all my yarn before I left, so it was already in balls, and I could just cast it on the airplane. Hold, please. I'll get to that. Why that's so funny. So then I went to Amsterdam, and there was this really cute little yarn shop that I just stumbled upon. I didn't even know it was there, in the Jordan neighborhood, kind of like around the corner from the Anne Frank house. And it was so cute. Like, the samples they had there were exquisite, perfect, like color work, everything in the shop was fingering weight. They had nothing heavier than fingering weight, and I had been buying DK for my sweater. Now, of course, I understand that I can hold 2 fingering together to basically get a DK, and I found this really pretty pink. I don't have a picture of it, I don't think. I don't remember the name of it or anything, and I wish I would have bought it, but I didn't, because I told myself, like I just said, I wanted to start on the airplane, and I was going to hand wind and everything, and I didn't want to hand wind 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn. I'll just find something somewhere else. And looking back, I totally wish I did. I wish I went for variety. I wish I would have bought it, but I didn't, so lesson learned, it's fine. And again, could I totally buy something and get it sent to me online? Yes, but the fun of this was that I was buying it on my trip. So I passed on it because of pure laziness, because I didn't want to hand wind 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn. So silly, but anyway, it's fine. So then, of course, again, I'm in Amsterdam, right? So later that day, I ended up going to Stephen and Penelope. Of course, that was on my list. I knew the whole time I was going to Stephen and Penelope. So I got this brown yarn, which again, you can see I hand wound one. I have another. It's their bicycle wool. It is in the colorway bicycle truffle. It's a DK. Oh, that's a lie. This is a fingering weight 50 grams. So I guess I was okay with getting fingering weight from Stephen and Penelope. But whatever, maybe because they were 50 grams, I was like, oh no, you know what it is? This is DK weight. They didn't have a second DK of this, and so I got the same colorway and fingering, and then this one, once I finished the DK, could hold double. Because I only needed I think 20 extra grams, 120 grams total. So I got one DK and then got a fingering to hold together later. That's what I did. So this one is DK, but again, it's still the same colorway, bicycle truffle in West wool. And then when I was there, they were about to close, and I was just in this rush. I did have one more day left on my trip, but I had a whole sightseeing situation planned, so I didn't think I'd make it to any more yarn shops, because I was going to outside of Amsterdam. And again, though, I'm sure outside of Amsterdam had cute little yarn shops. I don't know. I just got in my head that, oh my God, I had to buy a pink right here. So I did. And do I love it? Yes. Is it super beautiful? Yes. But is it from where I visited? Not really. It's from Ireland, Life in the Long Grass. It's again a very stunning color. It's a DK weight. Bought it at Stephen and Penelope though. But yeah, so I kind of got in my head, I guess. And I just rushed myself thinking, okay, I need to buy this. And then what happens? I'm knitting on this other project the night before I leave Amsterdam, and I'm putting my stuff together, and somehow I forget my knitting. I forgot my knitting on my hotel room bed. So luckily, it was my Chowgu needles. So I had this yarn in my bag, but I didn't have my knitting needles because my whole Chowgu set was in my, my special little toolkit, and I left my toolkit on the bed, and so I didn't have any of my needles. So I didn't have a 13-hour plane ride home. I couldn't knit. I left my needle set in the hotel room. Luckily, they were amazing. I called, they sent it to me. I got my needle set back. I have everything, but I didn't have it for that 13-hour plane ride. And by the time I realized, I was literally at the airport when I realized I did not want to risk going back and coming back. I'm in a foreign country. I'm trying to be really early. I don't want to rush it. I'd rather just, if I have to, lose the needles than miss my plane. So unfortunately, I couldn't start it on the plane. So the whole point about hand winding the yarn and having it ready was all moot. All moot. So again, knowing that, if I knew I wouldn't have started, do I wish I would have gotten that pink from that other Amsterdam yarn shop? Yes, I do. But hey, you live and you learn, right? it's all good. So these are the 4 colors to make my fall moody Soldotna by Caitlin Hunter. I want to start this ASAP because I am going to Rhinebeck. I don't remember if I said this or not yet, but I am going to Rhinebeck for my first time ever this fall, mid-October, and I'm thrilled. I want to wear something special. I think it's, you know, upstate New York in the fall. I just can't wait. It's going to be so beautiful. Not only is it Rhinebeck, my first ever, but it's also upstate New York in the fall. I can't wait for the colors. So again, I don't know, maybe it's gonna be too cold to wear a short sleeve sweater then, but my thought process is to have this done for Rhinebeck, and maybe I can wear, I have layering pieces, I can wear long sleeves under it and wear my fall Soldotna with the yarn I got from Europe to my first ever Rhinebeck. So just a bunch of special pieces, special components coming together. So I really want to start this coming up pretty soon so I can have it ready by mid-October. But yeah, I'm super excited and thrilled. Obviously Moonlight's just chilling asleep. She's not as excited as me, but I'm very excited. So that is all of my knitting. That is my summer finished objects. That's my final summer works in progress. That is my dream knitting upcoming cast on. And that is all I have to share with you today. Hopefully I'll be back relatively soon. Who knows? But whatever you're doing, I hope you are thrilled with your own crafting and happy making friends. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.